Good morning.
Good morning, Facebook friends and family. Again, Bobby Ballesteros with OSC Medical and Sharon
Friedman, life balancing therapies, massage therapist, yoga teacher. I don't know what that did. It's crazy.
Okay, it's going.
Are we working?
Yeah, we're working.
And were we working before?
We were working before.
Oh, technology. Just love technology.
Well, the timer's on, so I know we're good.
Okay. So this morning is the fifth of these mini little vignette informationals I'm giving about different things about yoga and the tools that yoga can give us. So we started with breath, and then we went to breath and movement, and then we did other things. So this morning I want to start again one more time with breath, because this morning I'm really excited. I'm really excited to talk about twisting, revolving, and what I do mostly right these days is work with people with osteoporosis, with bone density issues. And one of the main things that doctors tell most people who have low bone density, so their DEXA scans are off the charts, tell them do not forward bend, which we did last week, and do not twist. Well, you know, if you don't forward bend and you don't twist, it's really hard to maneuver through life, because we have to bend down to pick things up. We have to turn to get something behind us, or we even, like someone says, "Hey, Sharon," and most people don't go.
It's human nature.
Most people don't go like this, turn around. They turn around like this. And so, yeah, if you are not aware of your anatomy and the way your anatomy works for your body, yeah, you can take out a vertebrae. You can fracture a rib. There's a lot of things you can do if you're not doing the moving with your anatomy, and also with the breath. I mean, that is really important. We talked about that last week, when you inhale to come up from a forward bend and you exhale to go down, because of the inhale in and down and the exhale up and out. So, once you get familiar, you become almost like a second nature to breathe in a certain way and breathe out a certain way with a certain movement. Your fear of injury lessens. And I have a lot of students who say, I'm so glad that I understand this now, because I'm not worried about going out and picking up things or climbing things. And that's what I'm about, is to give people that freedom to go out and enjoy their life without fear of harm. And, sadly enough, as we get older, there's maybe a lot of people watching who are younger, but as we get older, the risk of fracture gets higher, and the possibility of fracture and morbidity, death, gets higher as we get older. And there's lots of reasons for that, not just because you break a bone, but the statistics say once you get 70, 80, and even 90, that breaking a hip, fracturing a bone, has a higher level of leading to death, which is scary, but that's what the facts are. That, and you can live in denial that's not going to happen to you, or you can live that it's not going to happen to me because I did this, because I took care of myself, because I got to understand what I was doing. That you can live without fear. So jumping right in this morning, I want to jump right in you see that printer's there? I have a picture of this thing called the spiral line. This man who was a Rolfer, and he also still is a Rolfer, but he was doing anatomy with his teacher, Ida Rolf, and he said, what if I took the blade and went sideways? Because when people were doing anatomy with cadavers, they would just cut through the fascia, kind of peel it off and look at the muscles. And he saw and fascia, that's another conversation altogether. Fascia is, I say it's like a casing on a sausage. And if anybody's ever seen, the old time sausages where the sausage was sausage to sausage to sausage, they were linked by a casing. Well, our muscles are kind of linked by casings in our body. And I'm going to show you the picture. It's so neat. I mean, I love anatomy. You can tell I'm a real anatomy geek. So this is called the spiral line. This is the front one, and this is the back spiral line. And as you can see, the spiral line, goes across the body like a cross. And what's important about that So I'm giving a little bit of anatomy before we get to the fun part. So I'm going to take and put his there, and it goes up. Oh, sorry, yeah, up and around. Sorry, got it wrong. Give me 1 second. This is live television. What can I say? So I'm going to put it here, like that.
Okay.
It starts in the ankle, and it goes up, and it crosses the knee. Put your hand right there, and goes over the hips. And it crosses over here. And put your hand up here, right here. Right at the top, right there. So, it's a ribbon. It's a ribbon. So when I'm going to pull this here. When he goes to turn, I'm going to pull the ribbon this way. And when he turns back, I'm going to pull the ribbon that way. Did I do something to the camera? Okay. So see, he's going to revolve really through this line and come back. But even more so, I'm going to have him now keep his hips stable, and I'm still going to revolve. He's still going to twist a little bit, but now he's keeping his hips stable and getting a lot more revolution in his spine than just,
Right.
okay? Because that will hurt your lumbar spine. Did you feel the difference? When you did this, you felt, when you did this, you felt the tension in the lumbar spine, right? When you did this, where did you feel that tension? About right back here, behind the spine.
Right.
And so that keeps, especially if you have lumbar spine issues, low back issues, you don't want to be twisting the other way like this, because you're twisting through your pelvis. You want to twist through your upper back, mid-back spine. And again, I showed that last week. I'm going to bring Shelly back today. Say hi to everybody, Shelly. Hi, Shelly. So what you're seeing is, let me see if I can keep with I know I lost my volume last week when I came close to the camera. So we don't want to twist through the pelvis, and we don't want to twist through the thoracic. So where does that lead us to twist? Here. And remember that ribbon? And the ribbon connects, it crosses over right here. So we want to revolve at where it crosses, or this. Okay, so how do you do that? I'm going to get her out of the way. How do you do that? How do you do that?
Give us the answer, Sharon.
All right, how do you do that? So I'm going to have you actually sit. So, and yeah, I think that way. Okay. And I'm going to have you place the brick between your legs. Actually, I'm going to have you do it this way, on your soft tissue. And so his pelvis is now called fixed. He's got a fixed pelvis because his feet and his legs and his pelvis are all connecting and sitting on the chair. So you can move it, but you don't want to move it, right? And we're going to just introduce the breath. Remember the breath. So we're going to inhale, in and down, and exhale up and out. So don't go down. See how you went crunching in? I want you to inhale, stay inhaled up, and now exhale, lift up and out. Pull in and relax the spine. Yeah, so your body dropped, but your body didn't round. So your body is going to drop and exhale, but it's not going to slump. So you keep the spine in what's called axial extension. So inhale, let's do this again. Inhale to the chest, stop. Inhale a little bit more to the mid-belly, stop. Inhale more to the lower belly. Now exhale, lift the pelvic floor and pull the belly in, stop. Lift and pull a little more in, stop. And then just relax, but don't lose the belly. Keep the belly engaged, but let the spine relax, the chest relax. And the reason for that is, and this is really important, this is where exhale really comes into play, is that he's going to inhale in and down, slowly. And as he exhales, he's going to lift up and rotate through Keep those shoulder blades back. And keep that, and also keep your nose over your belly. Try to keep your nose over your belly. This is really hard because we have this thing where we want to crank our head with it, right? We want our head to take us. No, we want to keep our head and our sternum and our belly button in line. So as you inhale in and down, one more time, you're going to exhale, lift up and lift up and rotate through. Your nose wants to go, doesn't it? And then you inhale and come back to center. So this is where inhale and exhale are really important because the inhale lifts everything up and the exhale then lifts everything up so that you're opening the vertebrae. You're opening the spaces between the disc. And you're using the musculature of that. Get that thing again, sorry. This is so important. This is one of the most, I think, the most important thing I teach my students, lift your hand up, is this particular move. Okay, so you're gonna inhale in and down. Now keep that in and keep that, see how it came up? It got really tall. Keep that length as you use your musculature to lift up. And I'm gonna rotate your rib. There you go, that's it. Did you feel how simple that was? And then you inhale and release. I don't know, you guys can't, I hope you could see how as I did that, inhale in and up. Now exhale, lift up and turn, and then inhale, release. Do you feel that? So notice his hips didn't move, but the rib cage was rotated, not by the rib cage, but by that muscle, that transverse muscle that crossed. And if you remember that picture in the back, go back here one more time. The back muscles. The back muscles have to elongate and stay extended so that these muscles can rotate. So I'm going to show you that. And you saw that. So these muscles have to stay extended, and that's what you're doing when you inhale. You're inhale, lifting up those muscles, right?
Yes.
As you exhale, you're lifting up those muscles, and then you're using the musculature of the abdominals and the laterals and the transverse abdominals to rotate the rib cage. So the rib cage is going for a ride.
The transverse.
How did that feel?
Where she's talking about transverse, it's the way the body just rotates. It doesn't rotate this way. It rotates singly where the upper body is turning, but like she's saying, you keep your hips in position, but it allows you to just rotate the upper extremity or the upper body.
Thank you.
Just to get that rotation. So I see where you're coming from, and that makes sense. You know, where if I turn the whole thing, I can feel the strain. I can feel the strain. I can feel like my back wants to pop.
And I'm going to stop right here. A lot of people do that, and it weakens. It's really, it feels good because we get this thing. You get a little bit of a serotonin pop with that happening, but it's over time that weakens the muscles. In fact, sadly enough, my daughter would do the cranking thing with her neck all the time. And one morning she woke up like that. She couldn't move her neck.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. You get your muscles will spasm. You can get a back spasm when from sleeping or whatever, from constantly yanking in those muscles because there's nerves in those muscles and they do get disturbed. And when the nerve gets disturbed, then the muscle takes the brunt of the nerve being disturbed.
It's one thing to know your limits. It's another thing to know your limits with the proper movement. So that's where
we're gonna change to the other side because we have to.
Let's even it out.
And plus, here's the other thing: we sit in certain ways, we walk in certain ways, we have certain spinal issues, hip issues that one side does not equal the other side. Right. So maybe he moved really easily rotating on that side. We're going to see how easily he rotates to this side. So
hopefully better because I'm right-hand dominant, so everything goes to the right. So this should be good.
I find that right-hand dominant, your left is always better. I don't know. Let's find out. Let's find out. So we're going to inhale in and down to get that nice axle extension. Keep the axle extension as you exhale, and then don't drop, don't drop, don't drop. Yeah, keep the shoulder blades open back, and then inhale and release. You have a little more stickiness on this side. Do you feel that?
Mm-hmm.
This one just rotated nicely. This one was like,
Yeah.
So we do that again. Inhale, in and down. And then exhale, lift, 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 and rotate. Use those muscles. Beautiful. And inhale, release. Very nice, Johnny. Okay, so that is fixed position, which is easy. You know, it's not easy, but it's easier to get that than standing. Come up and stand. So to stand, I'm gonna have you stand back with his feet. I had a feedback. Thank you very much for my friend who gave me feedback. She goes, it's like I'd like to see his feet. And because of the setup, it makes it very hard because he's so tall and I am not, that to get Bobby in full and be close to the, all the technological
There's a lot of
stuff,
technicals here.
It's just tough. So we're trying. So I'm going to start with, again, we talked about this with Tadasana, with posture, is feet. And so we're going to take it, beautiful. We're going to take the big toe across to the outer ankle and little toe to the inner ankle. And then find all four corners and almost like suck up through the arches. Feel that? And when you do that, this is amazing. And I'm going to give him a little bit of extra and squeeze that brick. But don't hyperextend your knees. Be gentle. So you may see me, you probably need your feet just a little bit closer because you get that squeeze. So when he squeezes his thighs, if anybody's doing this along with us, did you feel the pelvic floor lift and the engagement of all the muscles of the pelvis engaged? Mm-hmm. It's amazing. It really is. I went and bought these. It depends on how old you are. They had these little giraffes that you would push down and the giraffe would pop up into standing and you'd let it go. And it would release. So I had given my grandson one the other day, and I remembered. I go, oh yeah, this is great. So think about that. As you push your feet down, as you engage your thighs, as you engage your glutes and lift your pelvic floor, these muscles all kind of like come into the spine, holding it up. So did you feel that your spine just like go up like that? And you didn't even do it intentionally, right. But from the feet, the thighs, the pelvis, the pelvic floor, all engaging, the spine just went up. So notice, he's standing very nice. And it's not this, it's a very nice, soft,
relaxed.
It's a relaxed standing. And the other thing is that we're always fighting gravity. And fatigue is real because if our muscles are tired all the time, and when we talked about the brain, also remember, kind of going back everything, kind of reviewing everything, the brain uses 90% of its capacity just to keep us upright. So if you don't stand up tall, if your muscles aren't engaged and trained to stand up tall, then your brain has to keep reminding them to stand up.
This is where, people like myself, and what I do, I'm constantly in this position. So to try to consciously bring myself back.
Bend those knees, soften the knees. Feel the difference in your lumbar spine when you soften the knees? I'm a hyperextender. And so you think it looks like my legs are straight, they're not. My legs are actually micro bent right now. And I have to think about that because I tend to lock them. And that's not good for a lot of reasons, but especially for the low back. Locking the knees is really hard on the low back and also on the neck because they're the same curve. So, why are we here standing? All that. We're standing. Okay, so working with a guy who wanted to learn how to have a better golf swing. And this is really the key to it. Where's your power when you're playing golf? Everybody, where's your power when you're playing golf? It's in your hips.
Transverse,
It's transverse muscles, it's in your hips. So, in golf you stand a little bit wider, right? Okay. So when you bend your knees and you lean forward, right? Mm-hmm. Bend your knees, stick the butt out, lean forward, and you squeeze that brick. Because you want to keep your hips solid. And so when you inhale and lengthen up, exhale, lengthen up, and rotate, and rotate. You feel that?
Yeah.
Interesting.
if you guys have golfer friends, they need to look at this because you're spending a lot of money and not doing it right.
And also not, I'm not being mean, but I'm just being observant. One more time. You rounded your back. Keep your shoulders, keep your chest open, keep your belly in, keep your lumbar spine straight, because you want to use your spine as part of the power to hit the ball. And you want to use this, but if you round, look how much power you lose as opposed to open chest, bring those shoulder blades back. Remember, I don't know if anybody was watching one where I put the halter on him. You know, put the halter on yourself and try and still try to do your golf swing. And you're gonna, you notice that you lose so much power, but also you lose power in your breath. And when you inhale and open, and then you exhale and swing, actually, you do this. You actually inhale. No, it is inhale. It's exhale, and then inhale. You feel that? I have to remember, I haven't golfed in a long time. No, it's actually inhale, because you are swinging and coming up. Remember, the exhale is up. Inhale is down. So you inhale down, exhale up. Get that extension. Try that. We're going to play with this. This is called fun with the rope, fun with the belt, fun with movement. Kind of explore your own movement. Explore what feels right. So you're going to inhale. Inhale. Exhale. Did you feel the difference? Now exhale, go up, twist, inhale. Which felt better?
Yeah. Well, when you inhale as you're swinging, you actually lose your range of motion because your lungs and your chest are opening up, so that actually doesn't give you the full swing like if you were to exhale. So you can definitely feel the difference from exhaling to inhaling. It kind of creates a little bit more resistance.
Well, the inhale is pulling you down,
right,
and the exhale is like lifting you.
Right.
It's giving you that lift up. So yeah. Interesting. And the other thing about it is that play with breath. Play with your breath, play with your breath, play with your movement. But again, before you begin to start the swing, you start to take your inhale, and you inhale and finish and you're supposed to pause at the top of the swing. My husband taught me how to golf, and he was a very good golfer. But you're supposed to have a momentary pause at the top, and that's where you finish the inhale. Use that to kind of remind you to finish the inhale, and then you swing, and you finish the exhale at the top. And you're supposed to hold it at the top too. You don't just finish the swing. So using the breath to remind you to take it all the way back and pause, and then come all the way through and pause, slows down your
well, you're going to have less power. You're going to have less power. So for the golfers that we know that love to see them go 200-300 yards, if you're going the opposite direction, you're going to lose distance. So
and maybe that's why you are losing distance.
And maybe if you try this method, maybe your golf swing would get better.
So this is for golf, but on the other hand, let's say, we're going to sit down one more time. Let's say you're in the car. How'd you like that? Did you like that?
The car?
No,
the golfing was good.
The standing and the swinging? Yeah. Okay, so you're in the car and you drop something behind you, or someone wants to give you something.
Your cell phone fell back and somebody just texted you while you're driving, and you're not supposed to be going for it, but you're about to go for it. All right, here we go.
Okay, so I'm going to put the cell phone back here. You're going to inhale and rotate.
No, that's not going to work.
Okay, inhale. Exhale. Inhale back up. How did that feel? Yeah. And you really, you still want to lift with that exhale and rotate. But you were extending. I saw what you were doing. He was extending to the side as you rotated.
Right.
That was good. So most people would do. What would you normally do?
I wouldn't think about breathing. I would just reach back and grab it. There's no thought process to it. It's just we're impulsive and we kind of do things when we feel we need to or we want to.
Yeah.
There's never the thought of going, okay, how would this? What's gonna happen to my body when I do this?
Well, one more thing is that at first, like anything, you're training yourself to do something, and it feels weird, and it feels very unnatural, and it takes time. So we're building some brain-body awareness to the situation. And so in the beginning, you're gonna say, inhale, extend, exhale, rotate. You're gonna and you're telling your mind and your body what it wants to do. You're getting that communication. Over time, it's just gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. Sometimes you may have to, depending on the depth or the length, or like sometimes it's really way back there. So I'm just not gonna reach. I have to really lift and reach and roll. So it depends on the moment, the situation. But all these things that you learn, like anything, takes practice. It just takes reminding and stopping and thinking about it. And it's a pain sometimes. It's a pain sometimes to do that. But again, over time, as we get older, building good habits in our life make our life easier as we get older. Because I've been talking to friends who their back hurts, their this hurts, or that hurts. And I say to him, I said, it beats the alternative of not being alive. Number one, got to remember that. But also it takes a lot more to be healthy as you get older. Just remember that.
It does. One of my theories in life is to take care of number one before you step in number two. And a lot of times we step in number two by not thinking about what we're actually doing and just trying to go through the process. So in this process, as I'm thinking about, yes, I would have just reached back, but I would have never thought about what I hurt or what did I just do to the body.
Not until it hurt later.
Not until it hurts later on. Then later on you're going, well, what happened? And you can't think. You're not going to think about, well, I reached back to grab my cell phone, and that could have been the problem. That's not going to be the thought process. Be like, what else did I do? So I tell everybody, as you're doing these things, and I want you to think of yourself as an athlete, really good athlete. If you're a really good athlete, what would you do to protect yourself, to make sure that you maintain the things that you need to do to perform? Doesn't matter whether you're walking, running, jogging. This is just simple movements. And these simple movements will make you that athlete as a natural individual who's trying to maintain life. I would say this is very important for people to know.
Yeah, and again, I say it, I'll say it, as a healthy spine is the key to healthy mind, healthy, all the different systems of our body, because pretty much everything goes through the spine, or by the spine, or down the spine. It is the highway of communication back and forth. And when the highway gets broken, as we know, like many years ago, when the bridge went out between where we live and the airport, when they had that big flood, and you could not get to the airport, and that happens with our spine too. That when we lose connection through our spine, an arm can't be reached, a hip can't be, and it's so simple. It's so simple to take care of your spine. It really is. It's slow down, be mindful, breathing, slow mindful movement. And in a world where everything's fast, we're wearing our body out faster. Right. And that's why we're putting, and we're, so how many people have had hips replaced, and how many people have knees replaced, a shoulder replacement, spinal surgery. It's huge, and it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way. Right. It can, slow down and be mindful of your body before, and your body's telling you, I'm hurting, stop, and popping a Tylenol or putting on some icy hot, and then going out and doing it is not doing yourself any favors by any means. I'm just feel very preachy about that. I do. And again, if you're hurt, sit down. I was on a couch for 4 months. 4 months. And within finding out what was going on and doing PT, I was out and walking and doing everything in 2 months. So, take care of yourself, listen to yourself, be your best friend, and find ways to keep your spine healthy and your mind healthy and your feet healthy. I saw your saying on the door. Healthy feet or a healthy heart?
Well, the motto for my company is happy feet means a healthy heart. So we try to promote, you know, maintaining on your feet, being active, keeping the heart moving.
Yeah.
And so with my company, if we can keep you on your feet, you can maintain your lifestyles of running, jogging, hiking, walking, working, all the things that make us finish our days and go, okay, I got my part in.
And my job is to keep your spine healthy so that once you're on your feet walking, that it's not painful. And when you sit, it's not painful, and life is just easier. So I hope that these 5 have helped you. Next week, it will be the last one, and we're going to kind of go over, but I'm going to talk about back bends, which is not a normal, we don't normally bust out into back bends, but back bends are so healthy for our body, and we live in a back bend. We live in a little bit of back bend all day long, and so we'll talk about how to open up the front body to get the body to lift up and be able to open the chest and engage in a good posture.
Remember, everybody, do the right thing for yourself, by yourself, and live a happy and healthy life. Sharon, I want to tell you thank you so much for the educational process and teaching me a lot of things that I don't really know to look at. But there's apparently more to it than I know, so very thankful to have you here.
I so appreciate you letting me be here and give this information because as my husband hates me say, I would do this for free. I would do it for free, but actually it's really interesting that the Reiki master Usi, who taught Reiki, learned that you can't give anything for free. That something has to have, people have to believe it has a value. And so, as much as I give as much as I can free, there has to be an exchange of energy. So I thank you for your exchange of energy.
Definitely. And you can reach Sharon Friedman at?
lifebalancingtherapies.com. All the information that you need is on there. And my email is also lifebalancingtherapies@gmail.com. Give me any thoughts. Actually, in the box, give us thoughts, give us feedback, hopefully positive. If negative, go ahead. Or if you've got something to tell, got any questions, Bobby or me individually, please give us an email. We'd love to help.
If you have any enlightening information,
feel
free to share. If you thought we missed a little bit of something, as educational people, we love to educate people, but above all, we love to be educated. So if there's something,
I'm a constant student. I'm always.
She is. And hold on, education. They say school starts after high school and college. No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
it continues on. But thank you guys very much. Like I said, feel free to leave some comments and contact us if you have any questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby. Okay, so how long was that?
32.
Okay.